Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Room Number 9. So last time we came to check up on Seiji in the shower, and I'm pretty sure he was, excited, so we went ahead and helped him out, as a bro so often does. And now I guess we're crying afterwards? So, you might have just heard my dog barking. I don't know about that, but let's not edit the video more than we need to. Let's just get right into this. And if my dog could shut up, we could. But, you can't have nice things. My eyes began to burn and I felt something warm stream down my face. Tears? Are they tears, honey? Hot water filled the space beneath my eyelids and overflowed. Well, then again, we're also in a shower, so it just might be, a shower, so whatever. And I just realized my earphones weren't all the way in the port, so you weren't actually hearing any of the game sound. And if you were hearing the game sound, you were hearing my mic pick up the game sound from my speakers. So we're not even gonna fix that. I'm not restarting the video. I choked back the sound, but my throat kept trembling and I couldn't stop it. Dogs barking, the game audio's not even being recorded. We're not restarting the video. I choked back the sound. Did I already read that? Maybe. I just leaned against Seiji, his arms still around me, and fell apart. All the weakness in my heart spilled from my eyes and my mouth.
Seiji. Seiji!
Alright, relax. I just wanted to throw up everything that had made me feel horrible. All of the pain, everything that had happened so far, but I couldn't get it out.
俺、どうしよう。俺、お前にこんなこと。
I am so done. Oh my lord. What do? I did that with you. Well, I guess you just gotta off yourself. You had, two men just can't do that together, can they? It's so shameful. Hate you, hate your toxic masculinity, hate your homophobia. Just cannot handle you, hate your in the closet booty. Seiji held himself back from saying something. His arms tightened around me, consoling me with his embrace, but it only made me feel more pathetic. His voice was trembling too. I wasn't the only one crying. You know that feeling when you're gay and you have fun, exciting, consensual lovemaking with your friend who's also gay and in the closet, and then you cry together because you know you're both gay? It's relatable. Why were we crying though? Was it for the things we'd lost? What did you lose? I guess Daichi lost a little bit of blood. What else did you lose? Idiots. Or what we ended up gaining, whether we liked it or not. You didn't gain anything. So done. I'm not gonna hear another word of it, Daichi. I don't even have the guide up. I couldn't tell you which. There was no answer to be found. It just hurt, and the bitter tears kept flowing. Idiots.
あーくそ。かっこ悪い。
I washed my snot-covered face off in the shower. I felt so pathetic.
そうだな。お前だって泣いてただろう。いや。
Seiji boasted like it was nothing.
嘘だね。目赤いし。気のせいだろ。
We left the bathroom. We had towels wrapped around our waists. You know, for modesty. We left what we did in the bathroom. It wasn't like we decided to do this. We just picked up the towels on our own. I hated looking at the syringe and petroleum jelly and all that, so I tossed it into the exchange chamber. I threw my soaked sweats and tank top in the laundry basket too. I felt refreshed, like a big stone had been lifted from the top of my head. Maybe it was just because I'd finally let myself cry, but I felt so much better. Although maybe I also felt refreshed because I was going commando under the towel. I didn't really want to think about other possible reasons. Seiji got out of his sleep clothes. Well, I know why you actually feel refreshed, and it's because of what you did with Seiji. You hadn't picked up the ones I'd laid out for him, but new ones. He seemed reinvigorated. His hand stopped moving abruptly.
見たかあ、忘れてた
That's right, I never checked the point count. Seiji promptly abandoned his backpack and picked up the tablet I'd left lying out on the bed. I don't think we've ever actually had like a scene where they looked at their points once they reached 100. They either got bored of looking at their points or something, and they didn't even bother to look at it, or they just planned to stay in the room forever. It was weird. I don't know. I never would have imagined a time when we might get excited to look at that thing. I guess it was something you could only feel in retrospect. 101 points. How are we going to spend our last 1 point? Without saying another word, I opened the point exchange screen and Seiji looked at me. I didn't have anything else to do but nod. This concludes the study. Thank you for your participation. Once you have confirmed that your return location is correct, please collect your belongings and go to bed. You'll wake up the following day at your selected return location. Please note, if you don't collect all your belongings, any forgotten items will be collected by the research team at their discretion. Alright, so, pack up everything. Question, can we keep some of the supplies we were using at the room? You mind if we keep some of those toys, you know? It was over. It was finally over. We could go home. I could go back to my old self. The self that lies to himself? Is that the old self you're talking about? Apparently. So let's go back to lying to ourselves. We had the opportunity to be our real selves, to be true to others, you know, and just accept ourselves, but why come to face with reality when you can just ignore it for the rest of your life? Right? I mean, I think so. I would never have to do that stuff to Seiji again, idiots. Weirdly, I didn't feel particularly affected by it. It almost felt anticlimactic, like I just accepted it.
どうする
That came out sounding kind of exhausted, but I couldn't help it. I was exhausted.
少し考えよ
Think about what? I had plenty to do. Get my things together and get my feelings together. I silently started to pack my
う
bag.
なああと1ポイントあるんだけどどうする
That's right. We spent 1 point on the TV and 1 on the treadmill, so we had 1 point left. Seiji stopped what he was doing for a second.
もう必要ないだろタバコはいいよ吸っていややめるいいことないしなそっか
I felt weird I felt weird about taking something positive away from our experience in this place. Honey, there are a lot more positives than that to take away, but you just don't want to admit it. Or rather, you don't want to take them away because you like lying to yourself. I mean, it wasn't a big deal, and Seiji might have quit smoking anyway, but still.
あもしかして外出る格好の方がよくね
Watch after, like, after this whole room incident, Seiji finally becomes prime minister some years later, and he's like this totally, he has all these anti-gay policies as prime minister, and then it comes out that, he's having orgies in parks, like in that one ending as while he's prime minister. Yeah, I can see that happening. Because they can't be true to themselves. They're gonna be like Republicans, just being gay and having all kinds of gay love making. And then they go back to They go back to Parliament. Is that a thing in America? I don't think so. They go back to Congress or the Senate and make all the anti-gay policies. You know how it is.
そういえばそうだな。
Parliament. I don't think that's an American thing. I think that's like British. British? Seiji seemed a little off too. He changed into his street clothes and put his night clothes into his backpack. I slowly crammed my stuff into my backpack at random. I caught a glimpse of the bathing suit I'd taken great care to select and the unused condoms at the bottom of my bag. I was so frustrated. Frustrated that I spent my precious 10-day vacation in this place. Give me back the booking fee. Give me back my pure friendship with Seiji. I wish I could eye roll harder. Then I realized I just sent out the laundry. It probably wasn't coming back though. Whatever.
で、どうする？どこに返してもらう？沖縄。
Where do we have them return us? Where do, Seiji? Where do, idiots? We still had some vacation left. As far as my job went, I figured I could just call in and tell them I was going to extend my stay and be prepared to get fired. I wouldn't mind spending the rest of my summer vacation, no pressure, backpack style.
夏休みはもういい。だよね。
I knew how he felt all too well. It wasn't Okinawa's fault by any means, and the idea of that bright, warm sunlight didn't sound unappealing or anything. But I just wanted to get away from this place. We didn't even have any solid proof that we were still in Okinawa, but still.
羽田空港がいいと思う。那覇空港でも悪くはないけど。
We didn't really have the option to have them take us all the way home. We wouldn't want them to learn our addresses. I'm sure they already know. I thought for a second and then opened my mouth.
羽田かな。
I guess if we went for Naha, we could go get some souvenirs to bring back. And I had some friends and coworkers who were expecting things, but I could probably pick those up at a specialty shop or by mail order. It'd be really awkward too. The two of us waiting for our plane, spending hours sitting next to each other like that. What? Obviously we should just act like normal, but I wasn't sure if we'd be able to, because you're awful.
じゃあ、羽田で。
You're both awful human beings. We finished packing and input our desired drop-off location and laid down in the bed. Seiji thought for a moment before putting his glasses in their case and putting that in his backpack.
なあ。
We were laying a little closer than we had been the past several days. But it was over, so what did it matter?
返してくれるってのが嘘だったらどうしよう。
See, why don't they why don't they try to get dropped off somewhere where they know there's a lot of cameras or something? So they know that they'll get, the kidnappers or the researchers will get picked up on cameras so that they can try to trace back who did this. That's what I would do. That's where I'd try to get dropped off. Somewhere where I know they're gonna get picked up on camera, you know? And then I can go to whoever has access to that camera footage and be like, hey, you're not gonna believe this. You're not gonna believe what happened to me. You know? Well, that's just me thinking with my brain something that doesn't happen in this game, so sorry for trying to use my old noggin.
考えるな。
Sorry for trying to use logic in this game. I know that's really stupid of me.
殺されたりとか、
I know I'm
目
an
が覚めたら
idiot.
まだここにいるとか。
Why would you ever use your brain in this game, huh? No reason.
それ、ありえそうで嫌になるな。
I heard him laugh sarcastically beside me. I had been secretly hoping I'd have a chance to use the knife and fork I'd been hiding under the bed, but it seemed unlikely. I turned my head to the side to find Seiji's well-featured face. He was as handsome as ever.
寝よ。
I really want to choke Daichi.
つって
I
も
want him to die.
眠れるかな。ドキドキ。
Yeah, sorry, I
So-
skipped over that because I'm just too upset.
まあ、寝るか。
What is that? Sleeping gas sound? Huh, I'm a lot more tired than I thought. Maybe I just fall asleep easily. But what's that hissing sound? They can't even fix the dang hissing noise from their sleeping gas canisters or tanks or whatever.
第一
How strange.
おい
Don't sound so aroused. I heard a familiar voice calling me. I felt my head shaking from side to side. Come on, stop it. My head hurts. So stop slapping my face. I opened my eyes. Light hit my blurry vision. I sluggishly covered my face with my hands.
第一
Seiji's face was right in front of me. Why did he look so serious? Surprised what you said. Why is his beautiful face looking at me? I'm surprised you didn't say that.
なんだよ
My mouth was dry and I was having a hard time moving my tongue. I was really thirsty too. Huh? Actually, where are we?
聖司ここどこ
My head felt foggy and I felt like I couldn't make sense of what I was seeing. Where were we? I knew that was Seiji in front of me, but the place we were in looked different from where we had been before we fell asleep. Why was I asleep here again? Oh, right.
まだ出て
The second I sat up, a dull pain pressed against my temples. Were we still in a hotel room? We were still in a hotel room, but this time it had twin beds. Dang. I assumed it was a different room, but I couldn't relax. They could have thrown us in another round. Round 2. I love that. But something was off. Seiji was here, and there was light coming through the curtains. The light seemed a little too bright. It burned my eyes. I finally noticed what seemed odd. There's a white-looking object on the table.
ちょっと聖司あれテーブル
My body felt kind of numb and I couldn't move. When I tried to stand up, I immediately got lightheaded.
待て無理に動くな
Seiji sluggishly approached the table. I guess he was in the same condition I was, despite how together his face looked. There's an envelope and a room key and some kind of paper. There was a phone as well. I started to feel a little optimistic, but I couldn't let my guard down yet.
ここ普通にホテルなのかな
He tossed me a keycard and I caught it with both hands. The key had the name of a chain of business hotels you'd find at just about any big train station. It looked to be a branch by Haneda Airport. Could it really be real?
窓開けるぞ
If the light coming in through the window was real, then that'd mean we'd really been released. Seiji grasped the bulky curtains and threw them open.
うわ
Wow. Light flooded the room. The torrent of light was so aggressive I had to look away. Right, sunlight. I didn't even have to open my eyes. I could tell it was real sunlight. I'd forgotten how powerful the sun was. I stood up, still a bit lightheaded, tottered over to the room's door. It opened like a normal door and there was a normal hallway outside it. It was almost disappointingly a normal hotel room.
廊下あるかある終わったみたい
Our bags were in the room too.
終わったんだな
Let's go ask reception who the heck dragged our unconscious bodies in here. Seriously.
あ
I was relieved, but it still didn't feel real. Being careful never hurt anyone.
あそっちのそれ何
Seiji was looking at some piece of paper by the window. The tension drained from his face, and he relaxed bit by bit.
この部屋は明日10時チェックアウト代金支払い済みだって
Aw, that was sweet of them. Could've got us a double bed, though, jerks. They were really infuriating. These evil jerks had such immense administrative capabilities that it felt like such a waste to use it for criminal activity. And the food was so good. Good enough that I really wanted to know what restaurant they were getting it from.
見せて
I looked at the paper too, but couldn't make out the handwriting. It looked like some kind of computer printout.
これ
What do you mean it looked like a computer printout? Either it was or it wasn't. What? Either it was printed or wasn't. What do you mean? Couldn't make out the handwriting. What are you saying? Seiji mumbled quietly, looking at something else.
何
There were 2 envelopes. I assumed one for each of us. He blew into the envelope and turned it upside down. Blew into it?
宝くじ
And then something else fluttered out, a newspaper clipping and some kind of printout. It had words, study compensation, written on it. I don't remember getting a study compensation when we got out of the room the other time. Remember when Seiji and Daichi got out of the room and then they were like, no, if you guys, Daichi was with his friends and his friends were like, hey, we're gonna go hang out or something, do karaoke. Seiji's gonna be there. Do you want to come? And then Daichi was like, no, I can't go. I didn't remember getting money then. Also, I didn't remember getting money in the ending where Seiji and Daichi were just like, I don't even know. They were in the park, you remember? They were in the park. Debauchery. I don't remember getting money then. Seriously. Did we have to deny our true feelings to get the money? What is this?
当たりくじ100万円
That's only 10 grand, approximately, in real money. You know, in not play pretend money. That is the yen dollar. That's like $10,000. Like, what the heck's
こっちも
this?
だ
We could have died. Seiji immediately pulled out his phone. Oh right, we should be able to use them here. He compared the newspaper clipping and the lottery ticket to his phone screen over and over, zooming in on the text and tracing the letters with his fingers.
間違いないこっちもか
I looked at Seiji, still a bit dubious. The rules had mentioned compensation. Was this really what they meant? I completely forgot there was even compensation. But I'm still really pissed that we didn't get it in any other route, except the route where we lie to ourselves.
うまいかったんだ
A hair-raising thought crossed my mind when he mentioned that. If they had the assets to buy out lottery to use it for compensation, why would they do this? Or did they just buy a winning ticket? Can you even do that? The idea was unsettling. Everything about it was creepy. Why wouldn't they just give you like 10 grand in unmarked bills or something? I don't know. Sounds easier.
これを換金すれば完了ってことか
I mean, I guess it's kind of hard for people to go to a bank and hand them, here's 10 grand in unmarked bills. Can you put that into my bank account? You know, it's a little bit weird, I guess. Maybe it's a little bit easier to explain a lottery ticket, but I feel like there has to be a better way to do this. So take the untraceable money and forget it? Is that what they're telling us? The clock showed 11. It was exactly the day we were supposed to return. We'd planned to take an evening flight back. I wonder what was going to happen to those tickets, idiots. I guess those seats that we should have been in, smiling and tan from all the fun we'd had, must be coming back empty. Oh. I started to space out. I felt less a sense of freedom and more just numb, not editing that out. Seiji put the TV on. I just stared at the images flowing across the screen. It wasn't an Okinawan broadcast, it was a local Tokyo business news program. I didn't hear any Okinawan dialect either.
もう本当にあの部屋じゃないんだな
We weren't in room number 9 anymore. Ugh. And what a shame that was. We were home. The reality of the situation prickled across my chest. Did it really prickle across your chest? Is that what it did, Daichi? Whatever. Was I happy or just relieved? I couldn't really tell. You're disappointed. You want to have more fun with Seiji. I wouldn't have to hurt Seiji anymore. I'd be able to go home, not have to do any more of those inane tests, and go to sleep. What a boring life I have to return to. I glanced down at my left arm. The pad and tape on my arm itched. Seiji looked at me when he noticed. He was looking at the injuries he'd inflicted upon me.
どうする
What do I want to do? Uh-oh, Spaghetti-O. This is where the choices, the endings branch off. This is where we... This is... We have 24 hours of playtime, but I don't know. I don't know if I really spent 24 hours in this game. Considering I probably just leave it idle for a while. Anyway, so for ending E, we have to go to the police. I'm not sure which ending is better. I mean, I mean, what... Okay, well, that's a strange... Well, I'm not even sure how to phrase this now. Well, I'm not sure which one would be better to me, and I'm not sure which ones the developers might consider the quote-unquote good ending, because the developers are idiots, so they don't know anything, so... Anyway, so I don't know which ending to get first. I'd prefer to leave it off on, like, a better ending. One where we maybe get the guys in the room somehow, but I don't think that's gonna happen regardless. I think I'm gonna go home. I think I'm gonna go home. Yeah. Yeah, let's go home. I think that's gonna be our first ending. That's ending F. Go home.
帰ろう
I wanted to go to the police and get justice. I wanted to get even for what they did to us. But I'm pretty sure there's some things in this world that you can't do anything about. We couldn't do anything when we were over there, as frustrating as it was. We were completely powerless. It was the kind of evil you couldn't lay a finger on. I knew all too well what that was like. When I was a kid, my old man would drink and he'd start beating on me at the slightest provocation. And my mom was a total... who would rather go to bed with a man than make her own kid dinner. Ultimately, she tossed me out like trash. In either situation, I was a powerless little kid with no chance to stop what was happening, but it wasn't my fault that those things happened to me. It was frustrating, but I decided to do like I had back then and put a smile on and try my best to forget. No, that's not right. There are some things you just can't do, but there are some things that make you stronger so you don't bend or break in the face of adversity. They can expand the range of what you're capable of. I feel like if you live your life looking for the positives like that, something good's bound to happen to you eventually. Like how I happened to meet Seiji. And I was sure good things would keep happening. Good and bad things. I didn't survive this long to let something like this get me down.
帰ろう帰ってぐっすり寝るそんで遊びに行く
I want to slap both their faces so hard. While we might have had the room for the night, we were both pretty sour on hotel rooms at that point. Haha. I want to stuff my face with freedom. I want to drink in some fresh air. And if we're gonna go out and have some fun, it'd be easier to do it from home rather than the airport.
出よう
Seiji's words encouraged me. He barely said anything.
うん
I didn't bother checking what was in my bag. It's not like I could have gotten anything back that might have been missing. And I didn't have anything of particular value anyway. Seiji had his bag and glasses and watch were still there. That's all that really mattered.
ちょっと
I put my backpack on and left the room.
大地
He was holding the envelope out at me when I turned around.
いらねえよ
You're not taking the money, sis? You're so stupid. I really do want to kill you now. I probably sounded kind of annoyed. Sorry, Seiji.
じゃあ預かっておく
Seiji casually put both envelopes away in his bag.
金は金だいつか役に立つかもしれない
There was just something kind of funny about how he could keep so calm and rational even under these circumstances. I still wasn't 100%, but the fact that we could still laugh made the future feel a little brighter.
お前のそういうとこ好きよ
You loved a lot more about him.
結婚はしない
He cut me off before I even had the chance to say it. Come on, man. We got into the elevator and headed out into the lobby. Then we got on the monorail. We didn't even ask reception. We just found a pair of empty seats and sat down next to each other. Awesome. Why does Daichi look a little weird here? Anyway, we were free. We were really free. Gotta make sure your hands don't touch. That could be gay. Seriously, look, they look like they're trying to make sure their hands don't touch. Do you see that? I see that. I really see that. Let's take a look at this. We got a zoom. Doesn't even really matter. Here's the making sure we keep our hands at least 4 inches apart because it's not gay. Alright. We zoomed. Alright. The bell sounded, and I could feel the force on the train departing, pushing against my body slightly. There was a family looking through a guidebook with gleaming eyes, backpackers, exhausted-looking business people. There was something heartening about all of them. It had been so long since I had seen normal people I could hardly bear it. The AC inside the car was strong, but the sticky summer air rushed in at every stop. We were really free. I can't wait until, like, this chapter ends, and then it's like, Seiji, like, right at the very end of this chapter, I'm calling it right now, like, we'll get off the train, and then, but Seiji will, like, linger at the train tracks for a little while, and Daichi will be like, hey, what are you doing? And then another train's gonna come, and Seiji's gonna throw himself in front of it and die. Oh my god, that would make me so happy. Ugh. I wish that would happen. I was still pretty out of it and felt detached, like there was some thin membrane separating me from reality, but little by little I was starting to relax. I'd been so tense. God, why? You know, what's really strange about how Daichi looks is how he's sitting. He looks like he's trying to sit perfectly upright, and he looks weird. I've been so tense when I first sat down, but finally I let myself lean back into my seat. You're not leaning back right now. I don't know what you're talking about. I literally just went into this. You look like you look like a plank. It's very uncomfortable. Seiji seemed to be much the same. Once we were passing through Tenkubashi Station, he finally relaxed and started staring out the window. The sight of the glittering water in the canal was almost overwhelming. I felt like my body and my heart were starting to defrost as we finally returned to the normal outside world. Tears started to spill from my eyes like ice melting in the sunlight. No. I was glad no one was sitting across with us. Who wants to see a grown man cry? Are you gonna hold his hand? That's gay. I felt so pathetic I couldn't stand anymore, so I grabbed Seiji's hand while he stared out the window. Look at Seiji giving us the side eye like, you want me to unzip my pants, Daichi, bro? Is that what you want, bro? We can do it. Seiji was next to me. He was definitely there. His bony wrist was just a little sweaty, and I could feel his pulse against my fingers. I squeezed him tight to make sure he was real. We got home together. We both got back alive. I was so glad. That was one good thing to happen. Wait, that was the one good thing to happen of all this. Injured as we were still here. Well, only one person is injured, and I won't hear another thing about it. He didn't turn towards me, but I could feel his arm move. He gently knocked my leg with his fist as he set his hand on my thigh. That's all he did. That's all it took to remind me that he was there. And it told me that Seiji was looking for me too. I'm here, Seiji, just like you are. Don't worry, we're going to be fine. We're going home, and everything's going to go back to normal. And even if one day we start to move further away from each other and we can't see each other very often because of our families, very often because our own families are taking up too much of our time. Okay, whatever. Even then, you're always going to be my dearest, closest friend, Gay. So let's forget about everything that happened in that room, and even if we can't actually forget, let's pretend we have and live our lives with smiles on our faces. If you're going to remember anything at all, take the fact that even in that awful place, you were the most amazing friend to me, and lock that deep inside your heart. Awful game. Just so bad. What is this? Is this a real picture of Okinawa or some canal that they were talking about? I don't know. God, this is so stupid. It's so stupid. It's like they're acting like this is the happy ending. Like that's what this image that's behind the credits tells me. The developers were like, this is the best ending. This is the happy one. And it's like, no, this ending was awful. It was. They learned nothing. They repressed their feelings. They never had one sane discussion. They still never had one sane discussion about their feelings, which is incredible. I can't look at them like, we're done with this. I'm going to the next ending. You know, sayonara. Well, I said sayonara, but then as soon as I clicked on the credits, or tried to click to skip them, we got a little bit more. So, let the headache continue. We'd been transferring to Yamanoto Line shortly, and we started talking about senior theses and part-time jobs. Is this after everything? It seems like it. We didn't have time to wallow in tragedy. Things were slowly going back to normal, and everything that happened in that room was getting further and further away, leaving all sorts of related things behind with it. Finally, our train arrived at the station Seiji would be transferring at. He picked up his backpack and got off.
じゃ、
He spoke from the open door.
なあ
This is such a weird image. He just looks so weird. I never liked the art style in this game. I really don't. The characters just look kind of weird. Just, like, prove me wrong. He looks so weird. Looks so awkward right there. I hate it. I called out to him as the departure bell began to sound.
まただ
I could hear the hint of desperation in my voice, but I had to ask. Seiji smiled at me like he knew exactly what I was thinking. I really didn't need to ask. Seiji knew everything about me. Gross.
ああまたな
The door closed between us and Seiji smiled at me. Stupid, 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 stupid.